inside my house.
Okay, so the easiest way to demonstrate what we will discuss in class is to actually have a look at the software that will allow you to save different versions of an image. So I've got an old picture that was scanned, and I guess the first thing that I want to do is show you the pixels. So we can zoom in to this image and I can like literally show you the pixels so that you can understand that bitmap images are indeed made up of tiny little squares, and the more you zoom in to an image, the more you start to realize there's tiny little squares. And I'm hoping this comes out on the video. You can actually see the squares. They are pixels of color, and this is really what a bitmap image is made of. It's almost like a mosaic. You can see those squares in full view when you literally zoom right on into that. Okay, now if I go back to fit on screen, there's a couple of other things I want to show you. Now, when you export images in this type of package, it'll take a few minutes. Come on. No laughing at trousers, please. No accounting for taste. Come on, hurry up. Right, you are. This is a new version of Photoshop, so I wanted to choose my quality. So let's go for that PNG, which is it can have transparency. You can allow for smaller file sizes. You can change the number of pixels in the image, and it will scale automatically for you. You can increase sizing to compact the image slightly, and I can't even zoom view this now, but as you reduce the size of the picture, it should increase in quality. This isn't, I don't want an SVG. Let's do a GIF image. I don't like the new interface here. Let me try and see if I can do it in PowerPoint. So this is something that I did to show you the layers, because you can build an image up using layers. My system is running slowly because I've got quite a lot of files going on here. Oh no. Let me pause it. I can't even pause. Okay, so if I hide some of these layers, you begin to see what it is that I am actually doing with layers to make this image as a poster for school. Oh, it's unbelievable. Yeah. So this is what we call working with layers and building up your image using layers. That is possible with some software. You can save a file which a PNG and a GIF image, and that's how you get your animation. You know, with layers, you move the layers in different directions, and that isn't possible with a JPEG image. Let me see if they've changed this image preview, because it's really interesting to see the actual way that they save these things. They used to have an interface that allowed you to actually see that as you remove the colour. I've taken it out of Photoshop, which is a bit of a pain. Probably shouldn't even try and play with this now. I'll just shut it down completely. See if I can get any more space going on. Excellent. I think this one might do it for us. So we'll go to this GIF image, okay? And if you just look, can I make this bigger? Let me just see if I can make it bigger. Ah, fast. Playing. There you go. Excellent. This is what I wanted to show you. You can see the pixels of color now. I'm going to make it for the web, so it's 216. So it reduces the number of colors there again, and you start to see there's issues with the image around here. Look, can you see that? Now I want so the lossiness of the image. So let's say, can you see how it reduces the image size suddenly? Right. So I'm saying, look, you know what? Take less pixels out, mate, because it's starting to look a bit dodgy. All right. But the more you say, okay, help me to reduce my color references. Look at that. You can see clearly what goes on. Okay, so I'm saying I want 216 colors. Well, let's go for 128 colors, and then you really start to see some of the differences within that image and how it is choosing, it's doing a calculation constantly over and over again to try and decide, okay, which pixels does this person want me to remove. If I just choose the regular adaptive, it does improve the quality because of the algorithm that the GIF uses in order to do that. And of course it's still quite a small image, and downloads time, you can see, is still fine, 13 seconds. So I don't really need to have any well, we do have some loss, but if you wanted to reduce the file even more, and people use this more for effect than anything else. In terms of animation, I can't really show that because I haven't got animated files enough there to do that. I haven't got different files, sorry, on each layer, so I'm not sure that I can do that. So let's go for a JPEG image now, and once again we can talk about the quality. When we increase the quality of that image, we can see the file size and the download speed increases, but you can start to see that this actual image here, his face, it starts to look a lot clearer. And I'm focusing on his face because that in essence is like the picture, the bit that needs that good quality. And the TIFF now, this is a what we call a master file. It has a very large file size in comparison to the others, take a lot longer to download, but it contains millions of colors. And with a TIFF image, you can choose some kind of compression if you wanted to, but if you don't have any, the idea is when you open it and close it, it will remain. A bitmap image is less used now. It's not very good. Look how long it takes to download for online viewing. It's another big file, akin to the TIFF, except for the TIFF will save your alpha channels, i.e. your transparency. Okay. Now PNG is my favorite because quality is fairly good, as you can see. File sizes are small in comparison to TIFF and BMP, but it has millions of colors if you want it to have that, and you can have transparency. So if I can just demonstrate transparency now, so I'm going to go to this here image, and I'm going to just if I can just, if it will, I'm just going to delete the background. So I'm going to delete the background there, as you see, and then I'm going to just modify the document itself, and I'm going to put a different background color in. There you go. And then you can see what I mean by transparency. What we mean is that the background has gone, so it doesn't matter, the background of the original image is no longer there. So I'll make the background transparent now. So you will notice that I've given it a white background, and then we've got Simon's lovely face just kind of sitting there. So I'll go for a transparent background, and then you'll see there's nothing in the background. And this is what we talk about when we talk about transparency. We can then have our images on different colors. They're great for things where you want to blend things together and you want them to seem pretty much seamless, just like I do with the school logo. I use this transparent version of it in order to put it on any color that I want it to go on. This was the original color. I'd already sampled that because I'd made some changes to other things, but you know, if I decided that I wanted my image to be green, for example, you can see the logo sits quite nicely on that background as well. And so that's the purpose of having transparency. I've shown you pixels, I've shown you the actual effect when you start to compress the image, what it's actually doing. As I said before, it can be used for when we're actually compressing an image, we can actually use that to do picture effects, you know, like your comical effects and stuff like that. We use transparency, funnily enough, to do that. It's a quick way to do it rather than playing about with the tools in Photoshop. How you export your image is often a really good way to do that. So once again, it's not responding, and I think that's because I've got quite a few things up. I've also got Eclipse up, but I wanted to show you what a vector image actually is. So what I will do is I will just try and, if I can I? Because I'm just trying to close this down now. Ugh. It's just not happy, is it? It's my fault. I'm trying to do too many things at once. I wanted to just show you. I've already actually shown you what I mean, but I'm just talking about different picture effects just with transparency. When you start taking out reams of color, you start to you get different picture effects. And these things you can do in I'm not going to even bother to try and open the software, but in PowerPoint. There are loads of picture effects when you go into the picture menu, and this is what they're really doing. They're using different ways to get rid of pixels, basically. Right, so I'm going to cancel out of that, and I'm going to close this particular file down, because with this After Effects running, it's an absolute nightmare. Sorry, this was just for another video. I should have shut that down as well, but I didn't. So we're just looking at all the things that I've got running here. And isn't that amazing how much space it takes up? And all I can see is Denzel. Come on. Sorry. Okay, I might have to stop the video because I'm not seemingly able to get the interface for After Effects up. It is a massive big piece of software, so